Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Main here with Pastor Victor Brote. You guys know if you want to reach out to me, the best way to do is at stevemain.com. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. So welcome, Pastor.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about in Luke, I think it's chapter 7. Jesus is invited to eat at a Pharisee's house, which is interesting. The culture, the time, the correct behavior, and so on. So there's a woman involved. So can you just kind of take us through where that passage is and kind of give us a brief overview? It's in Luke chapter 7.
This is a little confusing and hard to just summarize really quick, but I'm going to try and do that. It's chapter 7. You probably pick it up at verse 36 if someone would want to go back and look at it. This is about mainly a woman who is at the feet of Jesus. She's crying. She pours perfume on him. And it is not the woman who pours oil on Jesus's head, where Judas changes direction and seeks to turn Jesus in. This is a different event, and you have to keep that in mind. They're at a Pharisee's house, and in comes this woman, falls at the feet of Jesus, and she's crying, kissing his feet, and pouring this perfume. And it occurred to me that this perfume that she had was expensive, really expensive. It was sort of like her retirement account. She had accumulated, probably drop by drop, this perfume, and now she pours it at the feet of Jesus. Just an amazing thing for her to do, because it was, in a very real sense, beyond her means in many ways. And the Pharisee had all this richness. He could invite anyone he wanted, but he did not do the kind of cultural appropriate things to greet Jesus. You would wash one's feet, or a servant would come and wash one's feet, and you'd get a hug and a kiss. But they didn't do that. The Pharisee did not do that, and nobody around him did that. It was kind of a setup to see if they could, I think, trap Jesus in something. So it was just kind of an exterior formal event. And then this woman comes in and cries at the feet of Jesus, and the Pharisees look, doesn't he know who's touching him? You don't allow if you're holy, nobody who's unclean touches you. And Jesus is going around touching people, lepers and dead people, and raising people from the dead. If you think about it, Jesus has done some of the very worst things that a Pharisee would see. And it just confounds him. And there's this woman crying, don't you know who this woman is? And then Jesus talks about a parable of two debtors. And one owed a lot, and one owed a little, and there is forgiveness to both of them. And Jesus says, and I'm going to pick it up at verse 44, you have judged correctly. The one who owed, and I'm going off to the side here because I realize you may not quite understand it in my quick explanation. The one who owed a lot really appreciated the one who forgave him. And Simon says, I suppose the one who forgave more. And he said to him, you've judged correctly. And turning toward the woman, he said to Simon, you see this woman? I entered your house, and you gave me no water for my feet, but she has wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You gave me no kiss, but since the time I came in, she has not ceased to kiss my feet. You did not anoint my head with oil, but she has anointed my feet with perfume. For this reason, I say to you, her sins, which are many, have been forgiven. For she loved much, but he who has been forgiven little loves little. And he said to her, your sins have been forgiven. And wow, She took her life savings in a way, and she might have been a prostitute. She might have been a woman that just kind of made the rounds, that had many husbands. We don't know, but she took this valuable jar, poured it on the feet of Jesus. She was saying something with this. All that I was trusting in, the money that I was trusting in, is for Jesus. I'm throwing it away in a sense, pouring it upon the feet of Jesus. Wow. She gives it all. And Jesus knows her heart, and it pleases him because of how she worshiped him. Wow, that's another thing. She worshiped him. Everything belonged to Jesus in her mind. And because of that, Jesus tells her that she's forgiven. Wow, we give it up. We give it up all. I don't know if I could do that. It's audacious in many ways, where she just turns it over, and she's saying something when she pours out the perfume. I'm changing my ways. I'm putting my priorities to you. And that's where it just really struck me, is it's something about value and finances and turning everything over to Jesus. And Jesus sees that in all of us whenever we do that. And he appreciates, and it's like there's a new accounting system. The accounting system for the Pharisee was one thing, and the accounting system, the benefits for this woman were a whole different world. The economy is different because of what she did. I know I went on a lot about this, but it just struck me of how amazing this scene is. And sometimes we read over this stuff and we don't realize what they're doing.
Yeah.
She spent everything in a sense, and he spent nothing, in another sense. Not just finances, but with all that he was doing, all that he failed to do.
Yeah, it's like the heart of the widow's mite. And you mentioned economy. Yeah. God's economy is different than ours. He doesn't count the way that we do. The rich man that ran to Jesus, you have to give it all away. You've got an idol. The servants who buried the talent, you didn't make it grow. You were fearful. And this reminds me of the heart of the widow's mite. This woman with her attitude, and that's what Jesus sees. And it's easy to see the heart and relationship with resources or finances when you see how people behave with them. You can see if they're fearful or if they're greedy or if it's an idol. And what you're talking about here, you can see right through into this woman's heart towards Christ because of something that she had. It was something that was valuable to her, but yet it couldn't tap into or even demonstrate even close the value that she held for Christ.
Yes. And that's just so encouraging to me. It's just so amazing that Jesus looks beyond the kind of exterior, the formal things. For some reason, in our culture, if somebody came to your door, knocked on the door, the Pharisee would have just left Jesus standing at the door and talked to him politely and all that stuff, and just never invite him in. And the woman invited Jesus in with all her heart, and that's how we're to handle kind of every aspect of our life. Our finances, that we talk about a lot, but our wholeness of our life is to be Jesus directed, God directed. And that's where the difference occurs. The Pharisee was an expert, absolute expert in all the rules and regulations. And he knew how to do everything right, but that wasn't his heart. It wasn't the issue that he lived by. This woman flipped it around, upside down, backwards, inside out, every way you could. A great thing. And maybe it can be encouragement to us all to just put down some of those things and look to Jesus and seek him out again and again through our day. It's just something I feel strong that the older I get, the more I know that around the corner, I'm going to be walking into the arms of Jesus. Wow. And he sees her heart, and the next person at church or the whatever, we can't see that, but Jesus can. It's so great, so powerful.
Yeah. And it's just, it's an angle that we always take here on this channel is look at your relationship with money. Is there pride involved? Is there greed? Is there fear? Or do you feel safe because you think you have enough money saved up? It won't make you safe. So it's about our relationship with stuff. And the relationship that we should have with stuff is really not a relationship at all. It needs to be with Jesus Christ, because he does control everything, and he can evaluate our hearts and see what our perspective is and what our motives are, and if there's anything unhealthy there. So really appreciate your input as always, Pastor. Thanks for being with us. You guys put your comments in the comment section. Love to hear your thoughts or your testimonies about this or things that you've experienced. Thanks for being with us, Victor.
Thank you.